I'm John Wang, a professional Chinese teacher. I've been teaching Chinese for 14 years now. I have classes face-on-face and online via Skype. I answered all kinds of questions from my students every day. I found that answering questions is really a great way to help Chinese learners improve quickly. I have answered thousands of different questions, all of them from the real life, and some of them excellent. They really help my students understand Chinese deeply. These questions about differences between words, uses of phrases, sentences order, Chinese culture, and much more. I recognized that if I put all of these wonderful questions and my answers to an online course, it will be a great thing which I can help many Chinese learners like you. So I made this course. Most of the videos are quite short. They are only 1 or 2 minutes, but you will benefit each minute. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an intermediate level learner. A good foundation is the base. It is such an important thing which you cannot skip. So why not try some free previews? And I look forward to seeing you in the course.
How do you say I drink coffee 3 times a day? 3 times a day. Or how do you say that? First, I drink coffee 3 times a day. The important thing is where you put this 3 times, right? So do you have any idea? Where do you put this 3 times? I drink coffee 3 times a day. 3 times. This sequence, this kind of word, you will put between verb and object. That means you put after verb, after 喝, but you put before object, before 咖啡. You have to say in Chinese, I every day drink 3 times coffee. A little strange, but yeah, that's the way we say it. You have to put times, this sequence between verb and object. So we will say this way. 我一天喝3次咖啡. So I 一天 one day 喝3次咖啡, drink 3 times coffee. Another similar sentence. 他一年回3次日本. So he 1 year 回 return go back 3 times Japan. Each year he goes back to Japan for 3 times. But remember, if you want to say for 3 times, it doesn't matter for 3, for 4, for 5 times. Remember, put this 3 times after verb and before object. But how do you say 10% off? I'm sure you have learned it. Do you remember? 10% off. In Chinese way, we kind of do the opposite way. We not really say 10% off. We say, I offer you 90% of the price. Okay? We say this. 打9折. 打9折. 打折 means make a discount. 打 is hit. Or you break something. 打 hit. 折 actually you break something. So 打折 is something like you hit something and make it break. The 打9折 is kind of I offer you 90% of the price. So I cut the price and offer you 90%. We say 打9折. All this, the system based on 10, not 100. So that's why 9 means 90%. Actually, 9 out of 10. So 打9折. But, nowadays, people can offer more detailed. For example, they even say 5% off. I offer you in Chinese way 95% of the price. How do you see that? How do you see that? Because all days it's just 1 to 9 should be enough. You don't put 95, but right now more detailed. People offer 95. How do you see that? We say this way. 打95折. In this case, we don't say 95, we say 95. So we say 打95折，打95折 could be 85折 85, which means 50% off. So here 打95折 Do you know this one? 黄了 What does it mean? So you know 黄 I think you know 黄 right? 黄 is a color, yellow. Le could be past tense, but it could be something changed, the situation changed. 黄了 here definitely is changed, not really past tense. You make no sense you put past tense after yellow, just means something become yellow, 黄了. But if I say 这个商店 this shop 黄了 what does it mean? This shop become yellow. What does it mean? Okay, it just means it is closed. It's kind of bankrupt. It's shut down. We say 黄了 because 黄 make you feel the autumn. The leaves become yellow, brown, and fell down. So it just means finished. If you say some business 黄了, the shop 黄了, the supermarket 黄了, or the cinema 黄了, just means it's closed, shut down. 打算 and 计划. Some people got confused. 打算计划 which means plan. Some people ask me one way I use 打算, one way I use 计划. So are they exchangeable? 打算计划. Okay, they all means plan. Also, they both could be verb or noun. For example, 我有一个计划. I have a plan. 我计划明天去公园玩. So I plan tomorrow I go to the park to have fun. Okay, so they could be noun, could be verb. The difference is 打算 is more spoken. 计划 is more formal. Okay. If you say 我计划 something to your friend, so your friend think that's more seriously, and you definitely will do it. But if you say 我打算 do something, it's more like just one of your thoughts, your idea. Maybe 我打算去上海. I'm thinking I'm going to go to Shanghai. But maybe you haven't booked the tickets. You haven't booked the restaurant, the hotel. You just you have an idea. If you say 我计划, it's more serious. Maybe you already booked the tickets and you already call your friend in Shanghai. We're going to go to Shanghai to visit you. That's 计划. Also, if you're a businessman in your company, you're talking about some plan, I think it's better you use 计划, not 打算. Because if you say 计划, people think maybe you're not very serious about it. Okay, 计划 and 打算. This one, 2 sentences. I like 2 sentences to compare, Okay, so one is 下雨是很好的. The second one, 下雨很好. 下雨很好. You notice what's the difference? The first one, they use 是 and 的. The second one, they didn't use. Which one is correct? They're both correct, actually. But you may have a question. Why I need the longer one? 是的. If I can say 下雨很好. 下雨 is raining. Raining is very good. 很好, very good. It's like just say something 很好, something very good. 我很好, I'm very good. 这个书很好, this book is very good. Why I need this 是的? So there must be some reason you put more things there. Otherwise, you don't put it. So this 是的 here kind of make it your very formal statement. You're really serious about it to emphasize. 下雨是很好的. Kind of yes, raining do very good. It's really very good. That's my opinion, my statements. Okay. This is just a normal sentence. 下雨很好. It's very good. Raining is very good. Okay, good. This just emphasize, make it formal. It's like a statement. We use 是的, 一点 and 有点. The number one，我们今天早一点开始。What does it mean？ 早一点开始。Okay, so that means we today 早一点 a little bit early 开始 to start. Kind of, can we start a little bit early? Actually, that's from one of my students. She or he, I don't remember, asked me, can we start a little bit early? So 我们今天早一点开始，可以吗？ I said, okay, 可以，我们早一点开始。So you put 一点 after adjective, normally your requirement, you want, you hope it will happen. Then how about this? 我们今天开始的有点早。As I said, 有点 normally statement. So 我们今天开始的有点早。Today we started actually a little bit earlier than normal day. Kind of you tell your friend, today our Chinese class started a little bit earlier than normal. 我们今天开始的有点早。You know, every day I have an online class with my students. Most cases we use Skype or sometimes WeChat. The Chinese WeChat is also okay. Because in some cases the Skype got a problem or internet got a problem. Just that the picture got frozen. It kind of like this. It cannot move, right? It's frozen. My students said, you're frozen. But they are also curious about how do you say that in Chinese? We say this. 你不动了. No, 动 means move. 动 means move. 你不动了 means you don't move right now. So here we have a le to show some situation changed. Like 1 second ago you're moving, but right now you don't move. So you don't move. That's situation changed. That's why we use le. 你不动了. That's you're frozen. 不动了. Okay. Sometimes if your computer died, how do you say that? My computer died. We say 这个死机了，死机了。死 you know, to die, to death. We Chinese people normally we don't like to talk about die, death. It's like that's why we don't like number 4. Number 4 is 死, so we don't like 死. But in this case we say 死机了. 机 is a machine. It's a 机 is machine. Here could be for your 手机, your cell phone, or 电脑 computer. Again, this situation changed. It's 1 minute ago, still working, but right now it just died, dead. Okay, or you can say 我的电脑死机了。刚才 just now, 刚才我的电脑死机了，对不起。Sorry, my computer dead just now. Sorry, 我的电脑死机了。我的手机死机了。再的，我跑步跑得快得不得了。What does it mean? It's a real sentence from my students. So I just curious. Because so many the. So it's surprised me. Wow, you make so many the, but it's correct. 我跑步跑得快得不得了。我跑步 you know, I ran, and 跑的 I ran, I ran 跑得快 I ran very fast. You know, in Chinese, this structure, first you tell people what you do. You say I ran, then you tell people the degree. I ran fast. So 我跑步跑得快 But 快得不得了 you know, this 不得了 just means so, very, to describe the degree of 快 So you tell people 快 but what's the degree? What kind of 快? Is it so fast or just a little fast or just so, you know? So 不得了 is the degree word to show very, very. It's like 非常 like 跑得非常快 So also you can say 跑得快得不得了 So this 快得不得了 just means very, very fast. How do you say a few years? How do you say that? You have an answer in your mind? Now tell me, how do you say that? Okay, I show you the answer. We say 几年. You know, 几 could be question word to ask people a question. Could be a question. Actually, if I put a question mark here, it could be a question. How many years? You know, 几 to ask the number, which is not very big, normally from 1 to 10. It could be 11, 12, for example. 几个月, how many months of 几月 kind of what month, which month, can say 12月 December, or this month November 11月. This is 几, but 几 normally small number, not very big. If you want big number, you may say 多少年, that's the question. But here is not in this case. In this case, it's not a question, it just means a few years. For example, 我去了上海几年. I went to Shanghai for a few years. Okay. So you know a few years is 几年. How do you say some years? Some years. You just replace 几 with another word. So how do you say some years? 一些年. 一些年. 一些 which means some. So some years, 一些年. Okay. Then how do you say more than 10 years? More than 10 years. How do you say that? You know, 10 is 10. More than 10. How do you say? As we mentioned, 几 means a few. So you put a 10 and a few years. 十几年. It just means could be 11, 12 until 19. 从11到19. 11 to 19. 所以十几年. It's more than 10 years. You can say 我在上海住了. I'm in Shanghai. I lived 十几年. For more than 10 years. Okay. Then make it bigger. How do you say, let's say, from 20 to 90? 从20到90, 可能是20年, 30年, 40年, 50年, 60年, 70年, 80年, 90年. All these years, how do you say? More than 20, but less than 100. Okay. We say this. 几十年. You notice we put a 几 before 十. 几十年. With literally a few tens of years. 几十年. So, previous one. 十几年, more than 10 years. But 几十年, from 20 to 90 years. Okay. Good. Then we make it even bigger. How do you say over 100 years? Over 100 years. And anything your idea? 100多年. 100多年. Notice we use 多, not 几. Because more than 100 years could be 120. This 20 is a big number. 几 is only for small number. You don't use 几, you use 多. 100多年. 多 here could be more. So more than 100 years and more. 100多年. Good. Then even bigger. A few hundred years. Okay, again we use 几 because could be 100年, 200年, 300年, 400年, 500年, 600年, 700年, 800年, 900年. From 1 to 9, so we use 几, 几百年. Okay, 几百年. How do you say I make a phone call? Let's say I made a phone call for an hour. For an hour. You can say, you know, make a phone call, 打电话. An hour, 1个小时. But where you will put this 1 hour? You may know, if a verb and object, if you put the duration, you have to put between verb and object. You have to put the 1 hour between. Let's 打. That's 1 hour is my head. 电话 is telephone, so you have to 打1个小时电话. You have to say this way. You will not say 打电话1个小时. You have to say 打1个小时电话. You have to say this way. Actually, that's not the question my student asked me. he knew this, of course. 打1个小时电话 but he wants to ask me, can I say 我打了1个小时？你 drop 电话 is that okay? I make a 1 hour phone call. I say 我打了1个小时。Is that okay? It depends. It really depends. If we already talk about and you and me, you know the topic is making a phone call, that's okay. 我打了1个小时，打了1个小时。No problem, no problem. Because people know that 打 is to make phone call. Otherwise, if we never mention the telephone, if you say 我打了1个小时, that's not clear. Because this verb 打 can be used in many different cases. Could play ball, you know, like 打球 play ball. Could be 打电话 make phone call, you know. So it really depends. It really depends. If the situation is very clear, it's okay just say 打了1个小时. If not clear, you have to mention 电话 the object. 打了1个小时电话. You may wonder, is any cases I don't need to mention the object, the meaning is still clear? You're right. There's some cases. So I show you. For example, no, 游泳, you know, 游泳 is swim. If you say 我游了1个小时泳, remember 游泳 you also have to split it. You put 1 hour between 游 and 泳. I swam for an hour. In this case, you can drop 泳 because 游 itself just means swim. There's nothing else, just swim. So of course you can say 我游了1个小时, even you didn't mention swim before. That's very clear. So as long as the meaning is clear, you can say 我游了1个小时, no problem. Give you another example. It's a very common example. 我睡了1个小时觉. You know, 睡觉 sleep. Normally you have to say 我睡了1个小时觉. You put 1 hour between 睡 and 觉. It's okay to say 我睡了1个小时, of course, because 睡 itself just means sleep. You don't put other things. You know, there has no other meaning. 我睡了1个小时 is okay. Some similar situation like 聊 is a chat. 聊 is chat. You can say 我聊了1个小时. I chatted for an hour. 我说了1个小时. I talked for an hour. It doesn't matter. You can drop the object. The meaning is still clear. As I said, as long as the meaning is clear, it's okay to say that. 想 means I want something. I want something. 想要 is more like I'd like to have. I'd like to have. For example, especially in the restaurants, if you want to order something, you will say 我想要1杯咖啡. I'd like to have 1 cup of coffee. But you don't say 我想1杯咖啡. Because 想 not only means I want, also 想 has the meaning I thinking or I miss. So I miss somebody or I miss something. If you just say 我想 and the object means I miss something, definitely Chinese people will think you miss something. If you say 我想我妈妈, that's perfect. I miss my mom. Or 我想, if you say 我想1杯咖啡, it sounds a little strange. If you want to make it sense, people will understand like I miss a cup of coffee. They think maybe you really like coffee and there's 1 month you haven't had any coffee, so you really miss the coffee. In this case, you say 我想咖啡, 我想1杯咖啡. But if you in a restaurant you want a cup of coffee, definitely you say 我想要, not 我想. But if you want to do something, I think both are okay. For example, 我想去上海, 我想去中国. I want to go to Shanghai. I want to go to China. So it's okay to say 我想去中国, or 我想要去中国. Not really big difference. Sometimes they say 我不听你. I understand because also I know English, of course, because I have to use English to teach. 我不听你 I think from English you're going to say I cannot hear you 我不听你 but we don't say this way we say 我听不见我听不见你 this 不见 in grammar book is called resultive complements to show the result. First we say 我听 I try to listen then the result is no not get it so 听不见 this 不见 you can use 不见 as a resultive complement after 听 listen or 看 to see if you say 听不见 means I can hear I try to listen but the result is no 我看不见 I try to say something but the result is no 我看不见 you say 我听不见你我看不见你 I cannot see you or I cannot hear you 我听不见 you will say 我听不见 not 我不听 in Chinese 我不听 it makes sense but it doesn't mean I can hear it means I don't listen 我不听 for example someone criticized me blah 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 我不听 don't talk to me I don't listen 我不听 so you will not say 我不听 to me you know you will say 我听不见 sorry I cannot hear 听不见好 how do you say happy birthday in Chinese birthday is 生日 happy is 快乐 right so we say 祝你生日快乐祝 is to wish 生日 birthday 快乐 happy make me remind the famous happy birthday song you know in the song you say happy birthday to you right but in Chinese we say 祝你生日快乐 you know that's funny because different order we say literally we say 祝 wish you birthday happy wish you birthday happy so in Chinese the song we say 祝你生日快乐 if in English kind of we are saying wish you birthday happy wish you birthday happy we say this way you know it's kind of funny okay so if today is your birthday or you're going to have your birthday 我祝你生日快乐对了 so what does 对了 mean 对了 you know 对 is correct it could be correct you're right but here I want to say 对了 also means by the way for example at the beginning I can say by the way the Christmas is coming soon I can say 对了圣诞节快到了 okay 对了 how do you say Christmas is coming how do you say Christmas is coming soon I show you this you will say 圣诞节快到了 please notice this 快到了快乐 structure 快 is fast but 快 with the they work together means something will happen very soon 圣诞节快到了 the 圣诞节 Christmas very soon will come very soon 到 means arrive so something will arrive very soon 圣诞节快到了 it could be a person for example John 快到了 John is coming soon 我的妈妈快到了 okay of course the spring festival is coming soon also it's in this year in every year different this year is January 25 so exactly after 1 month after the Christmas it's the Chinese spring festival 圣诞节快到了how do you say teacher ask us to do exercise teacher ask us to do exercise many of my students may say 老师问我们做练习做 to do 练习 exercise 问 to ask but in real Chinese we don't say 老师问我们 we say 老师让我们做练习 here 让 itself if you check dictionary means to make to let to ask 老师让我们做练习 teacher let us or teacher ask us to do exercise we don't use 问 because When means ask. In Chinese, this ask only for asking questions. Must be a question, not ask somebody to do something. Not my boss asked me to do something, or my mother asked me to do something, my teacher asked me to do something. You don't use this when, this ask in Chinese. You have to say 让. That's important. Many of my students make this mistake. So notice this. You will say 让, not when. How do you say celebrate the Christmas? How do you say celebrate? Celebrate. Actually, in Chinese, that's very easy to celebrate some holiday. We not really use the word celebrate, which is another word you already know, which is very easy. We say 过圣诞节. 过圣诞节. The word 过, you know, literally means pass. For example, pass the road. You can say 过马路 or 过路. Or you go through a bridge, 过桥. If you go through a holiday, just means you celebrate the holiday. 过圣诞节, to celebrate the Christmas. You can ask your friend, 你怎么过圣诞节? You know, 怎么 is how. How do you celebrate Christmas? 你怎么过圣诞节? Also, we mentioned before to celebrate the birthday, you know, 过生日. Still, we use 过 to celebrate. 过生日, 过圣诞节. 不一定 and 不肯定. That's a tricky one. 不一定不肯定. They kind of just not sure, but they're also different. 不一定, 不一定, 不肯定. For example, 不一定 normally is you're not sure you're going to do something, like you should be an action. You're not sure you're going to do something. For example, will you go to my party tomorrow? You say 不一定, 不一定. I'm not sure I'm going to go to your party. 我不一定去, right? 我不一定去. But 不肯定, this not sure is about some fact. You said I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Kind of, are you sure you know that man? And you say, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's the fact I know that man. In this case, you say, 我不肯定. 我不肯定. Okay. So, I ask you, are you sure you remembered all the vocabulary you learned today? You say, 不肯定, 不肯定. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay. Good. That's 不一定. And I go to Germany from France by train. How do you say it in Chinese? Of course, not English. I think the English order, which I just said, is also not perfect. But the meaning is, you know, from France to Germany by train. I take train from France to Germany. How do you say that? The important thing is the order of sentence. So the important thing is the Chinese order, of course. So I show you the Chinese order. We say 我从法国坐火车到德国. 我从法国坐火车到德国. Here, 从 and 到. You find 从 and 到 means from to. Here is from 法国 to 德国. So 从法国到德国. And here notice you put 坐火车 by train between 从 and 到. You say 从法国 take train 到德国. That's the correct order. 我从法国坐火车到德国. Literally, I from France by train to Germany. Okay. Here also 从到 structure. 从到 from one place to another place. Also could be from one time to another time. For example, my class from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I can say 我的课从9点到10点. Okay. It's from one place to another place. 从北京到上海. How do you say disappear? Something disappeared. For example, my book it's disappeared. I cannot find it. So what can I do? Where's my book? How do you say? My book disappeared. That's very easy. We not really use the word disappear. Of course, you can use the word disappear, but in spoken Chinese, most people just say that way. People say, 我的书没了，没了. You know, 没 is from 没有. 没有 means you don't have something. But if you say 没了, it just means gone or disappeared. My book gone. My book disappeared. 我的书没了。我的杯子没了。我的公交卡没了。You know, 公交车是 public bus. 公交卡 is the card. You know, use the card to take the bus. 我的公交卡没了。That's true. I have to find it. It must be somewhere. Just I cannot find it. Yesterday, today. 不知道在哪里，所以我的公交卡没了。会议不会结束的那么快。会议不会结束的那么快。What does it mean? 会议 is a meeting. Meeting 不会 will not. 结束 finish. 那么快 is so fast. So that means the meeting will not finish so fast. So pay attention here. You have a the, right? Because that's a very classic structure we mentioned so many times. Almost every time I talk about some sentence with this the structure. Here 结束 finish is a verb. So verb the and the adjective structure. Verb the adjective. It's not necessary to be adjective. It could be other described part elements. So 会议不会结束的那么快. You need the in Chinese. Will not finish so fast. In English, you just say directly finished so fast. But in Chinese, you say finish the so fast. Okay? How do you say offer discounts or give a discount? How do you say that in Chinese? Okay? We say this. Maybe you know. 打折 give a discount. But literally, it's not really give. 打 is not give. 折 is not discount, right? 打折. But why we say 打折? 打 is to hate, normally to beat, to hate, or some action with your hand, like 打车 take taxi, 打电话 you know, 打球 play ball, action with your hand, to hate. Then 折 means you break something or you fold something like this. That is called 折. So for children, we have the game for fold the paper. You know, that's called 折纸. So 折 is to fold, to break something. 打折 together, you hate something and you fold it like this. So this thing, what is this thing? This thing is the price. You know, 100 kuai, but you fold it, make it 50 cents. You know, that's the idea for 打折. You cut it, you fold it. We call it 打折. How do you say, let's say, 20% off in Chinese? We say this, 打八折. We put a number between 打 and 折. 打八折. That means you pay 80%. You know, old days normally people based on 10, not 100. So 打八折 just means 80%. You pay 80%. Okay? But right now, you know, how do you say you get 12% off? 12% off. How do you say that? Now, we say this. 打八八折. We don't say 88, we say 88. 打八八折 means 12% off. 八八折. Why so many 8? So many 八，很多八。因为我们是中国人，我们很喜欢八。Because we are Chinese, we love 8. 8 means you're getting rich, so then 8 is also a good number, you know. 12% off, 20% off, so that's a good number for the shops. So they like 8, 八八折. You say 八八折 everywhere. Sometimes people say, I feel big pressure. I feel stressful. I have stress. How do you say that? Think about it. How do you say that? Okay, I'll show you. You can say 我感觉有压力。You know, 感觉 is a feel. I feel 有压力，有 have. I feel I have 压力，压力是 pressure. You know, 力 is power. 压 is to press. So, 压力 power. I feel the pressure. I feel the stress. 我感觉有压力。Or you can say 我压力比较大。It means literally translate. My pressure quite big. 比较大 quite big. So you can say 我感觉有压力。我压力比较大。我可以听懂一部分。我可以听懂一部分。So that means I can 听懂 understand, listen and understand 一部分 a part. So it means I can understand a part of what you said. So the important thing I'd like to share you is 一部分。一部分 you put after 听懂。我可以听懂一部分。English you say I can understand a part of what you said, but we say I can understand, yes, a part, 听懂一部分。Here 我可以听懂一小部分。That's interesting. If you want to say I can understand a little part of what you said, a tiny part, you can say 一小部分。Even sometimes you make it fun, you say 一小小部分。You put too 小 means even tight, 小小部分。So first, one friend called Silvina from Argentina. So she has a question. First, I will share with you her question. How do you say I can't drink coffee? Can't drink coffee. Okay. 我不能喝咖啡 which is very easy. 我不能 I cannot 喝 drink 咖啡 coffee. Cannot drink coffee. But actually, it's not her question. Her question is, how can I say not even 1 cup of coffee? I don't drink coffee, not even 1 cup of coffee. How do you say that? Do you have an idea? Of course, we have some, pattern to say that, not even 1. If you learn, do you remember it? Okay, I show you. How do you say that? She gave me a kind of answer. She asked me, can we say this way? 一杯咖啡我有点儿都也不喝。Is that correct? Is that correct? No, actually. It's better to say, or you have to say, 一杯咖啡我也都不喝。You know, the structure is 一 something, 一 object, 也都不。The structure means not at all. 我一杯咖啡都不喝。我一杯咖啡也不喝 means I don't drink coffee at all. The idea is, I always like you to feel the idea, not only the grammar, It's kind of, you have the deep understanding, not only the grammar said, the pattern that, so I just use the pattern. It's better because we are human being, we are not computer. So it's better we understand in the deep way, I feel that. So automatically I know how to do that. 一杯咖啡, we say even 1 cup of coffee. The idea, I tell you the important thing, even 1 cup of coffee, then I tell you I don't drink. So that's why we say 一杯咖啡 first. Normally we don't put object first, but in that case we put it first to emphasize, to make it different. Then people know, some special thing will happen. So why he puts 一杯咖啡 at the beginning? Because I want to emphasize this no. So 一杯咖啡 even 1 cup of coffee 我都不喝。This 都 or 也 is a signal. It's a signal for this structure. You need that 都不喝 kind of emphasize. Even 1 cup of coffee I don't drink. 我一杯咖啡都不喝。I understand. You said 有点儿。I think you mean a little bit, not even 1 cup, maybe even a little bit coffee I don't drink. In that case, you put this a little bit at the beginning. It's like 一杯咖啡. Instead of saying 一杯咖啡, you will say like 一点咖啡, not 有点, 一点, a little bit. So you can say 一点咖啡我都不喝, even a little coffee I don't drink. You know, either you put 一杯咖啡 or 一点咖啡. Okay, I hope it's clear. Nothing special. How do you say nothing special in Chinese? Because sometimes I like to talk with my students when we start our class, kind of free talk, because that's actually it's helpful. It's based on my students' daily life or my daily life. We just have a free talk, have a warm up, and the students will use the words they know, and I try to help them to correct, so they build their own way to speak. That's great. So sometimes people want to say nothing special. Nothing special. How do you say that? We say 没什么特别的. Literally translate 没什么. There's no 特别的 special. So nothing special. I like to show you something funny. Show you something here. Oh, let's see. Some students ask me, how do you say this one? This one. And, okay, this one. We call it 插头. 插头. 插 means insert something. 头 is a head. So this thing is more like a head, you know. So kind of head feeling thing. We call it 插 is insert. 插头. The insert head. 插头. Okay. But another thing, you know, this thing. You will put the 插头 inside it, right? Inside it. So that's one unit, that thing, we call it 插座. You know, 座 is the seat. 座 is the seat. It's kind of you sit here, you know, it's the seat. We call it insert seat because like seat. So this 插头 will sit on it. It's called 插座. But not the whole thing, you know, not the whole thing. It's just this piece is called 插座. So this thing got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6个插座, 一个插头. But the whole thing, how about the whole thing? I say the whole thing. The whole thing we call it 插排. The character 排 means a row of something or a line. So 插排because there are many 插座. You know, there's one line, two lines. So this whole thing we call it 插座. Okay. Not 插座, 插排, sorry. So here, 插头, 插座, 座 is the seat, and 插排, 排 is line. So 插头, 插座, and 插排. Again, 插头, 插座, and 插排. A USB. If I plug in or pull it out, how do you say that in Chinese? Very interesting question because you use it very often. Especially I have some online teaching. Sometimes people do this, do that. They want to say, oh, I want to do this or do that, or even the power. Sometimes their computer ran out of power, so they said, I have to plug in the power. So how do you say that in Chinese? I show you. So first, if you pull it out, we say 拔下来. 拔下来. So 下来 is go down. So pull it out. 拔下来. And if you plug in, we say 插进去. 插 is insert something. Insert. 进去 is enter. So we say 插进去. 插进去. 拔下来. 插进去. 拔下来. 插进去. You know, I ask my students, how are you today? Anything new? At the beginning, I'd like to, you know, free talk with my students to improve their conversation skill. So I always ask, how are you today? And some people said, nothing special, like always, just the same as normal. How do you say this in Chinese? How do you say this? Okay. We say, 老样子，老样子。No, 老 is old. 样子 means appearance. It could be people's appearance. You can say, 他的样子很好 ，his appearance really good, looks good. 样子很好。could be the appearance of something. 你的衣服的样子不错。Kind of your clothes looks good. 老样子 anyway, 老样子 is old appearance. Just means nothing special. Same as normal. 老样子。Okay. Sometimes people say young. Young means the same. You know, something and something the same. You say young. But if I ask you how have you been doing, you can say 老样子，老样子。Old appearance just means nothing special. First, how do you say Christmas? I think many of you know Christmas in Chinese. In Chinese, Christmas is 圣诞. But actually, that's not my question. I want to ask you, how do you say Santa Claus? Santa Claus, you know, the old man in the Christmas. How do you say that? Okay, I show you. This one. We say 圣诞老人 in Chinese. Literally, 圣诞 Christmas, 圣诞 Christmas. 老人 you know, 老 is old, 人 is people. Together, old man. Literally, we say Christmas old man. That's formal name, very formal name for Santa Claus in Chinese. Christmas old man, 圣诞老人. Sometimes people want to say, show me, you know, show me. How do you say show me? Show me. How do you say show and how do you say me? Show me. That's not the right way to think about Chinese, you know. We just use another phrase. 好 We say 给我们看，给我们看。给 you know, give. 我们 us 看 look. 给我们看 give us and let us have a look. 给我们看 which means show me. Sometimes you cannot really translate literally from English to Chinese, you know. Show me, you just say 给我们看. I will sit wherever you sit. For example, we go to a Chinese restaurant. And you ask me, where would you like to sit? 你坐哪儿？你坐哪儿？ And I say, yeah, I can sit whatever you sit. How do you say that in Chinese? It's an interesting structure. So I put it here. 你坐哪儿？我就坐哪儿。Literally translate. You sit where, I then sit where. Just means I sit wherever you sit. Again, 你坐哪儿？我就坐哪儿。You sit where, I then sit where. You find this structure, there's a 就. 就 is kind of then. So other things are kind of same. You sit where, I sit where. But you just put 就. 你坐哪儿？我就坐哪儿。Other example, very similar. Here. 你去哪儿？我就去哪儿。You go where, I go where. Just means I will go wherever you go. 你去哪儿？我就去哪儿。Some of my students find this funny to say that. You go where, then I go where. 你去哪儿？我就去哪儿。好 Other example. 你吃什么？我就吃什么。So you eat what, I eat what. So I eat whatever you want to eat. 你吃什么，我就吃什么。Is that correct? It's okay to say this way? Yes. You know, of course, 我喝咖啡, that's definitely correct. It's a very, very easy, only 4 character. It's there's no way to make mistake. Yes. If there's something wrong, it must be yeah. Also, you know, in English, say also I drink tea. But in Chinese, this year, you cannot put before 我. You have to put yeah after 我. We say I also drink tea. Not also I drink tea, you know. You have to say 我也喝茶. I think many of my students know it. but sometimes they just make the mistake. They say 也我喝茶. It's not correct. You have to say 我也喝茶. 多照几张照片. I know it means take more pictures. For example, you go traveling, so I ask you, make sure to take more pictures. Is that correct to say 多照几张照片? What do you think? Yes, it's correct. That's a very classic structure. 多 do something in Chinese. 多 do something means do something more. For example, we Chinese people will often say 多喝热水, drink more hot water. We kind of love hot water so much. If you get sick, your mother said 多喝热水. If you feel not comfortable, stomachache, your mother said 多喝热水. Seems like 热水 can help you with anything. It doesn't make anything, just the 热水 is a good way to solve them. 多 do something, always 多 do something. 多照几张照片. Here, 照 is take picture. Here is to take 照片 picture. So take 几张 means a few pictures. 几 normally could be a question word. Could be how many, for example, 几个人, how many people. But it also could be a few. If in a declarative sentence, it means a few. It's not question. So take a few more pictures. 我给了他们上课. 我给了他们上课. Is that correct to say? 我给了他们上课. It's not correct. Why? Because the tricky word 给. 给 could be give, but it's a tricky word. Not always means give. Sometimes it's more like for or to, kind of to somebody or for somebody, I do something. Here it's more like for, not really give, because you find another verb in this sentence. Another verb is not clear actually, but you find there's another verb. It's 上课. 上 is a verb. 上课 means to have a class. As a teacher means to give class. As a student means attend the class. They both 上课. So 我给了他们上课. Actually, you need to say 我给他们上课. I, for them, gave the class. 我给他们上课. If you find another verb in this sentence, normally 给 is not verb. 给 just means for or to. So because 给 is not verb, you are not going to put a 了 after 给. You put a 了 after. If you want to put a 了, you have to put after the real verb 上. You can say 我给他们上了课. 我给他们上了课. Ask you, is that sentence correct? 我3天没运动. 我3天没运动.我 literally I 3 days 没 didn't 运动 sports or do exercise. So I haven't been doing exercise for 3 days. Is that correct? It's wrong or it's correct? Yes, it's correct. So duration, 3天 is the duration. Normally, as we said, the duration you put after verb. Normally, if you say I have been do exercise for 3 days, if there's no 没, you will put duration after 运动. Definitely, you will say 我运动了3天. I've been doing exercise for 3 days. But if it's a negative, we put the 3 days duration before 没, before the verb and before 没. We say 我3天没运动. Maybe people want to emphasize, make it strong. It is 3 days which I didn't do any exercise. So remember, the negative, you put duration 3 days before 没. 我3天没运动了. 我1个星期没喝可乐了. I haven't drink cola for 1 week. That's true. 我1个星期没喝可乐了. 我3天没喝咖啡了. You put 3天1个星期 duration before the negative. 没. Okay. 1%. So 1%. 百 is 100, 分 is kind of part, 100 part. 之 is a very classic way in Chinese, ancient way to say of. It's like the in Chinese right now. Yi is 1. So together that's 1 of 100 part. So that means 1%, 百分之一. 3% of course 百分之三, 3 of 100 parts. That's the structure. So that's 之一 just means 1 of. Then after learning this, some of my students ask me, so can I say he's one of my friends? Use that 之一. How do you say that way? Then I think he's very smart and makes that sentence like this. 我的朋友之一. This means one of my friend. So he asked me, is that correct? 我的朋友之一. Of course, that's correct. Actually very smart, very good. And I'd like to tell you another way. 我的一个朋友. So 我的, the is the modern way to say of. So 我的 my 一个朋友, one friend. But here you notice we not really say one of my friend. In Chinese literally we say my one friend. We always put my in this case at the beginning. Then you put other thing after 我的. Okay. For example, one of my beautiful friends, you say 我的, you still put my at the beginning. 我的一个漂亮的朋友. Okay. Another thing I'd like to mention. 我的一个朋友 is more common to use because here we use the 我的 is a more modern way. It's more spoken feeling. But here 之一 that's correct, but the feeling is more classic. So because it's classical, so it's written. The feeling is more written. 他是我的一个朋友. Normally you say this way, 他是我的一个朋友. But of course you say 他是我的朋友之一. People think, wow, your Chinese is so great. You know that this way is more written way. But normally I prefer that way. 我的一个朋友. Some students ask me about 经验 and 经历. They all means experience. So what's the difference? 经验, 经历, experience. The difference is, 经验 normally means you know how to do something because you do that thing so many times, many times, so you know exactly how to do it. In this case, you say 我很有经验, or 我有很多经验. Kind of I have a rich experience. 我有很多经验. But 经历 just means you experienced something. Just means you ever done it before. It doesn't mean you know exactly how to do it. You can say 我有在中国工作的经历. 我有在中国工作的经历 just means I have ever worked in China. But it doesn't mean I know everything about China and I know everything about every business in China. It doesn't mean that. It just means I did that. 我有在中国工作的经历. But if you say 我有在中国工作的经验, that's 经验. Yeah, that's great. That's really rich experience. You know exactly how to do. You do something. You did something many times. So you rich experience. Someone asked me. She said, how do you say I would like to talk about my family. The main thing is this about. About in Chinese is 关于something, is about something. But can I say 我想说关于我的家人. Is that correct? 我想说关于我的家人. In English, I'd like to talk about my 家人, families. Actually, it's not correct. Because in Chinese, normally if you say talk about, think about, you don't need really to say about. We just say talk. We'd like to talk my family. We don't really say about. Okay. Here is the sentence, the correct sentence. 我想说说我的家人。You know, we Chinese people, we like to duplicate the verb to make it soft and polite. 我想说说我的家人。I'd like to talk about my family. You just say 说说，有东西说关于。But if you really want to say this 关于 this about, maybe you prefer to say about. So where you put this about? Definitely you will not put it after 说. You will not say 说关于. You will put it about at the beginning, like this. And make it closer so you can see it. 关于我的家人. In Chinese, it's okay to say this way. 关于我的家人. About my family. 我想说. I like to say. This way is okay. But you have to say about first, kind of regarding or about the topic, my family. Then I give you the comment. You know, there's a very classic sentence structure. It's a topic comment structure. So in this way, it's kind of a topic comment structure. The topic is about my family. Then the comment I tell you, I want to say, 我想说. Okay. 随 is follow. 便 is from 方便. 方便 means convenient. So 随便 means follow your convenience. Kind of as you wish, whatever you want. We say 随便. For example, your friend asks you, 你要吃什么 in the restaurant? 你要吃什么? What would you like to eat? Sometimes you think whatever, it doesn't matter, just anything. You just say, 随便 没关系 means as you wish, as your convenience, follow your convenience. You just order for me. Anything is okay. You say 随便. Or your friend asks you, 你要坐哪儿? Where would you like to sit? You say 随便. Follow the convenience. It just means it doesn't matter. Anyway, you say 随便. Okay. Do you have any idea where we go this afternoon? Somewhere we go have fun. Say 随便 doesn't matter. KTV or watch a movie, go skiing. 随便. 口罩 and 胸罩. So 罩 in Chinese means a cover. Something can cover you. Cover. 口罩 of course. 口 is your mouth. You know, 口罩 is a mask. 口罩. 胸罩 okay. 胸 is your breast. So 胸罩 is a bra. 口罩胸罩. We kind of use the similar way to make that word. So I think that's funny. Yeah. So mouth cover and breast cover. Okay. So other similar example here. We have a 床罩. 床 is bed. So 床罩 is a bed cover. 灯罩. 灯 is a lamp. So 灯罩 the lampshade, lamp cover. Okay. So 罩 cover. 买得到 or 买到了. You know, what's the difference? 买得到 买 is buy. 到 is arrive. But normally 到 you put after verb means you really get something, you got something, you got the results. Okay, so what's the difference? 买得到 买到了. For example, let's take 票 ticket for example. 买得到票 or 买到了票. What's the difference? 买得到票 actually 买得到 to show people kind of possibility, kind of it is possible to buy the tickets. 我买得到票. For example, in Spring Festival, during the Spring Festival, there's so many people. We Chinese people like go hometown during the Spring Festival. So many people they want to buy the tickets, especially train tickets. So normally it's not easy to get the tickets. Sometimes you can say you can ask your friend, 你买得到票吗? Means is it possible to get the tickets? 你买得到票吗? Your friend may say, yes, I can. 是的，我买得到. Yes, I can get it. No problem. 我买得到. Also negative, you say 买不到. Means no, it's not possible. So many people, there's no tickets. So 我买不到. 我买不到票啊，我买不到 for short. Okay, but 买到了 到了 means you really got it. If you say 我买到了 actually you already get the results. You did it means I got it. 我买到了啊，我买到了票 means the ticket is already in my hand. I got it. 我买到了票 Okay, so 买得到 to show the possibility, but 买到了 you already have the results. 马上 means immediately. 马 is horse, the animal. 上 is on. 马上 literally means on the horse. You can imagine, all the days the horse is the fast thing you can use to get somewhere. So on the horse just means very, very fast, very soon. I will arrive very soon. So for example, you call your friend, where are you? You're supposed to be here, but where are you? Your friend is riding a horse. He said, I'm on the horse. I will arrive immediately. So on the horse just means immediately. You can say, of course, you can say 圣诞节马上到了 or 马上就到了. Sometimes people put 就 to emphasize immediately. 圣诞节马上就到了. 圣诞节 immediately arrive. 我在上海工作了2年了. If you watched my video before, I think you may know this sentence. I've been working in Shanghai for 2 years. That's not very hard. 我在上海工作了2年了. The thing is, why there are 2 了 here? Why you need 2 了? Why you need the last 了? Why don't just say 我在上海工作了2年? Is that correct? Or it is wrong? It is correct. If with 1了, 我在上海工作了2年. Le could show past tense. Just means I worked in Shanghai for 2 years. That's past. It shows now you're not in Shanghai. Maybe you moved to Beijing. Now you are in Beijing. So, but I worked in Shanghai for 2 years. In this case, you just use 1了. 我在上海工作了2年. But how about you still in Shanghai? You want to say in English, I have been working in Shanghai for 2 years, not I worked in Shanghai. In this case, our Chinese way to do that, we put another le. We put the second le at the end after 2 years to show I've been working in Shanghai for 2 years. Now I'm still in Shanghai. It's the action actually is keep going. That's the second le. So le is not always past tense, In this case, the first le is past tense, the second le to show continuous. That action actually is keep going. Okay, is this clear? 我游了1个小时的泳. That's the duration. 1 hour is the duration. So 我游了1个小时的泳. In this case, we split 游 and 泳 because we consider 游泳. 游 is a verb. 泳 is a noun object. So you put the duration between verb and object. We say, I swim 1 hour kind of swim. Okay. So the first swim is verb, second swim is a noun. 我游了1个小时的泳. Oh, 我游了1个小时泳. On this paper, the question is, should I use the or I shouldn't use the? That's also a question from another student. The answer is both are okay. It doesn't matter. If you put the, it's okay. If you don't put the, it's also okay. People say both. 我游了1个小时的泳. 我游了1个小时泳. 都可以，没关系. So both okay, it doesn't matter. 下楼来 and 下楼去. Why 来 and 去? In grammar book, it's called directional complement. It's called directional because it shows direction. 来 is come, 去 means go. So if you put a 来 means that person or something come to you. If you put a 去, that's go away. Go away. 下楼来,下楼 go downstairs. So if you are downstairs, you want your friend go downstairs, you say 下楼来 because they're coming to you, 下楼来。But if you are upstairs, you want your friend to go downstairs, you say 下楼去 because you are downstairs. 去 is go away, so 下楼去 you say 下楼去. It really depends. Sometimes you put 来 and 去 to show the direction. This kind of further information you put there. Of course, you can just say 下楼 go downstairs. Of course, you don't need the 来 or 去. But we use 来 and 去 make it people know the direction to you or just go away. So that's a very classic one. 一点 and 有点. Actually, I talk about this difference. 一点 and 有点. One is, 有点 you put before adjective, and 一点 you put after adjective. That's a really big difference. Also, as for the meaning, let's make an example. Like you take taxi in China, sometimes the driver in China drive very fast. Then you kind of complain. You said, 你有点快，有点快. It's kind of your statement. You said, you are a little fast, 有点快. Then another one, if the driver drive very slow, very slow, but you're in a hurry, you want to go to the airport, so you can say, can you drive a little faster? In this way, you say 快一点. So this 快一点 is more like you require what you want. You say, 快一点, please be fast. 快一点, 快一点. In this case, you say 快一点. But if you make the judgment, make your statements, you say, now it's so fast. It's so fast. You say 有点快. Because we kind of, Chinese people, we kind of use some polite word. If very fast, you may not say very fast. You may say, that's a little bit fast. Okay? So in this case, you say 有点快. But you want people to do something, you use that way. 快一点. 快一点. It's like another example in supermarket. Not supermarket. Supermarket normally you cannot bargain. In the vegetable market, let's say, you see a watermelon, you want to buy it, but it's a little expensive. How do you say? It's a little expensive. You will use 有点. That's your statement. You say, 有点贵, a little expensive. But can you make it a little cheaper? That's your requirement. You will say 便宜一点. Cheaper a little bit. 便宜一点好吗? They may say 好 or 不行已经很便宜了 already very cheap. 考试决定他能不能上大学. 考试 means exam. 决定 decide. 能不能 can or cannot 上大学 go to university. So literally translate, it's clear. The exam decide if she can go to university. So why I show you this sentence? The problem is, in English you may say, the exam decides if she can go to university. So, if in Chinese is 如果. But in Chinese you cannot say that way. You cannot say 考试决定如果她上大学 if she go to university. In Chinese, in this case, you will say 能不能 can or cannot. You will not say if. We only say if in Chinese, like if then. Like if it rain, I will not go out. Only in this case, if then as a condition. 如果下雨 rain, 我不出去. 如果下雨我不出去. In this case, I say 如果 if. But in that case, exam decides if she goes to the university. We don't use if. We have to say 能不能 can or cannot. Remember this. How? For example, I don't know if she's my friend. Okay? The same situation. You don't say if in Chinese. You don't say 如果. You say 我不知道她是不是我的朋友 is or isn't my friend. 周末我要看孩子. If you look at here, this 看, if you look at the Chinese character, Normally, for this character, we will pronounce 看. For example, 看电视 to watch TV, or 看电影 watch movie. But here, you notice I wrote 看 first tone. First tone. Am I wrong? No, actually, for this character, there are two ways to pronounce it. 周末我要看孩子. If you pronounce the first tone, this 看 means not means look at, means look after. So 周末我要看孩子. At the weekends, I need to look after my child, 看孩子 or children. We're not sure if children or child, because in China, it's no problem to put plural or simple. So 孩子 could be one child or two children. You don't know. Of course, you can put a 门 after 孩子 to make it plural. But if you don't put a 门, it's not really means only one. It just means it could be both, one or many. 学习 study. For example, 我学习中文, right? But 学习 is a verb. 学习 is just a verb. You can say 我学习 something. Verb and object. 我学习中文. But 读书, you know, 读 is a verb. 书 is a noun, is an object. 读书. So for 读书, you make sentence, the sentence already finished. You cannot put another object. You cannot say 我读书中文, right? You just say 我读书. It could be I read a book. You know, 读 could be read. So 我读书, I read a book. But also 读书 has the meaning I go to school, I study. I know characters. 我读书. 我是一个读书人. I'm a person with educated. I'm an educated person. 读书 also have this kind of feeling. 我读书. 西班牙语,西班牙 language, 西班牙文 also language. But normally in spoken Chinese, we prefer to say 语, especially spoken language. For example, I'm learning Spanish. I will say 我在学习西班牙语. I'm not going to say 我在学习西班牙文. It's okay, but 文 is sounds like more formal. And 语 is more spoken. Also, it's more preferred spoken language. 西班牙语, 西班牙文, if you put 文, it's preferred the whole language, especially the feeling written language. Okay. So, if you say English, 我在学英文, or 我在学英语, actually both are okay. But 语 the feeling is more like spoken. 我在学习英语, I'm learning English. It's more spoken English. 我在学习英文, it's more like the whole English. Reading, spoken, writing, grammar, like this. Yeah. I heard some of my students, not only one, many of my students, they ever use this. For example, they say, 我的中国人朋友. Or they say, 我中国的朋友. So, is that correct? 中国人朋友 or 中国的朋友. Actually, it's not really common to say that. We Chinese people, normally we say, of course, we're Chinese, normally we not really mention, this is my Chinese friend, right? But if we say this, it's better to say 中国朋友. 中国朋友. It's just a Chinese friend. We just use China friend. 中国朋友. You don't need a 中国人, because 朋友 and 人 is kind of same, people or friend. You just use 朋友, 中国朋友. Okay. Also, normally we don't put the, we just say 中国朋友. 好. You see, from the bottom to the top, the degree is going higher. So first, if we look at the bottom, 有点忙. 有点忙. So here I only have Chinese character, 有点忙. Okay. 有点忙, 有点 means a little bit. Let's take 忙 for example. 忙 means busy. So 有点忙 means a little busy. Just a little. You know, the degree is just a little. 我有点忙. I a little busy. Then 挺忙的 比较忙，挺忙的，挺忙的。That's 挺的 structure. You put the adjective between 挺 and 的，挺忙的 quite busy. I'm quite busy. Not very busy, not a little busy, but quite busy. 挺忙的。Another similar thing, we can say 比较忙。You put 比较 before 忙 to make it quite busy. 我比较忙，我挺忙的。Both of them means quite busy. The one thing is 比较忙 it sounds more formal than 挺忙的。挺的 structure is quite spoken. Then we have 很忙, means very busy. But in Chinese 很 is not that much higher. Very busy. We say very busy, but it's not kind of very, actually just a little bit higher than quite busy. 挺忙的，比较忙 and 很忙。Then next level, if you're really busy, you will say 特别忙 or 非常忙。特别 or 非常，特别忙，非常忙。It sounds formal. 特别忙，非常忙 very busy, very busy. Or you can say 太忙了。太忙了 is more spoken because you use the 太了 structure. 太了 structure, when people speak, people like to use, so it's more spoken. You can say 太忙了。You put 忙 this adjective between 太 and 了，太忙了。That's why also I said 了，了 is not always for past tense. Some people ask me if 了 just means past tense. Not always. Sometimes in some certain pattern, it just has different usage. For example, 太了 structure, 太忙了 means very busy, too busy. I'm too busy today. 我今天太忙了 it's more spoken. Then the top level, we have 忙极了。忙极了，极 has meaning the end. For example, 南极 南 is south. 南极 means south pole, or 北极 is the north pole. Okay, so that's the end. If you say 忙极了 means extremely busy. It's to the end, so no further. Extremely busy. 忙极了. That's more formal. Another spoken one got the similar meaning. Also the top level is 忙死了.死 is die. No bigger than die, right? 死了, it's over. Okay, so 忙死了 also means extremely busy to death. But because of 死, it's kind of spoken way. 忙死了. Okay, that's the different level words. You can replace this 忙 with other things, other adjectives. Like 累, right? If you're tired, you just put 累, 有点累, or 很累, 累极了, 累死了. You can just replace.
So people ask me, how about 面 and 脸? 面 is face, people's face. 脸 is also face. What's the difference? Also about 足 and 脚, 口 and 嘴. 足 and 脚, both of them means foot. 口 and 嘴 means mouth. So why we have two words for same thing? Okay. So the words on the left side, they kind of formal way to say those things. On the right side, they kind of spoken way. It's the way we use in today, modern life, modern days. But the left side is more older way. Actually in spoken Chinese, you not really say the words on the left side, only say the words on the right side. For example, let's say 我的脚疼. So I hurt my feet, so my feet is painful. 我的脚疼. You never say 我的足疼. No one say that. You find this 足 only in some certain word, some fixed word. Maybe this word already exists for hundreds and thousands of years, so they will never change. It's just a word. It's fixed. Okay, it's like this. And 脸 If you say my face, definitely you say 我的脸. No one say 我的面. Even 面 got the meaning face, but no one really say it in spoken Chinese, modern spoken Chinese. Okay, but you can still find some word with 面 means face. Okay, 嘴 the same idea. My mouth 我的嘴 never 我的口. Okay, it's too formal. I give you an example. 口语. Okay, spoken Chinese, spoken language, we call it 口语. Because 口语 is kind of fixed word. They never change. Just say 口语. But my mouth, 我的嘴. It's like in English you say bicycle. Buy means two. But when you say two, you never say buy, right? Buy, people think you're buying something. They never think you're talking about number two, okay?
You're welcome to my Q&A live stream this Thursday. Check the description box below and send a reminder. Bring your questions and I will see you then.